Trading terms that sound complicated but are actually very simple. MSS, market structure shift. From all of my studying and everything, I put together 3 different types of market structure shifts that I want to show you. Show y'all some diagrams that I made of market structure shifts, and then I'm going to show y'all on the actual chart so y'all can see the activity that occurs after the market structure shift, depending on what type of MSS it is. Okay. Before I get into it, I just want to stress to y'all the importance of being able to identify the different types of market structure, because it gives you an indication of like what is the likelihood, like what is likely to happen after a market structure occurs. So it's either 2 things that's going to happen: a continuation or a change of trend. If you are able to identify what is likely to happen, it's literally the difference between you clicking the buy button or the sell button. So let's get into it. I'm not saying you have to listen to this video, but you should. So let's get into it. Another thing about market structure shifts is that they don't occur unless liquidity has been swept. So in that order, liquidity needs to be swept, and then there needs to be a push up to break a previous high. This is what I call a market structure wick. And when this occurs, the likely result is a continuation. Y'all can see we were in a downtrend. We had the sweep of liquidity that happened here. Then we broke this previous high, creating a market structure shift. It wicked outside of the zone, but it did not close outside of this zone, so this will be called a market structure wick. And the likelihood is for a continuation. And look at price, it continued on down. Okay, the second one we're going to discuss is a market structure break. Price was trending down. We created some sell side liquidity here, scooped back up. Look at all this efficient pricing. Price came back down, swept that liquidity, and then it turned around, went back up, and it broke this previous high. It broke a little bit outside of this previous high. That's indication of a possible shift. However, there was no inefficiencies or imbalances created. That lets us know that although it did close out of this over this previous high, the buyers, they talking, but they ain't really talking about shit. You know what I'm saying? Likely result is for a trend continuation, and that's exactly what it did right here. It broke that previous high and continued on down. Okay, in our third and final example of market structure shifts, a displacement is basically when the price closes above the previous high with high momentum. Price broke this previous high. So what we want to examine is the leg of what broke the previous high. Examine this leg, and in this leg we have an imbalance. Beautiful. So when we see something like this and then price closes above it, look at all that. This is called displacement. When displacement occurs, it is likely to result in a trend reversal. So this is not our confirmation to enter a trade, because y'all know you think you know something and then it go the opposite way. This is not our confirmation. This is just likeliness, high probability. This is my new target area because my bias now is that price is about to go up. So I will mark out this zone, and as soon as price taps in this zone, I will put my stop loss below this candle here. Put your stop loss below the candle that created the imbalance. So I will put it here, and if you want to widen your risk, you can put it at the previous low. This will probably be the safest bet, but I like a tighter risk, so I will put my stop loss here. And then as y'all can see, price tapped into this zone, rejected it, and then it continued to push up. We can see that we are in a downtrend, and if we look at the most current price action, we can see that sell side liquidity was swept here. Mark our high, and then we're going to mark our low. Okay, so basically what we're waiting for now is for price to cross one of these levels. So now let's play. Okay, so our high has been taken out with a huge bullish candle. What kind of market structure shift is this? Ding ding ding, correct. Okay, so let's let this continue to play out. Okay, let's look at our new example. Let's mark off our recent high and our recent low. And we can also see that liquidity was swept here. So let's let this play a little bit. The high has been breached. What would you classify this type of market structure shift as? Which one? Exactly, a market structure wick. What is likely to occur after we get a market structure shift wick. Exactly, a continuation. So let's let it play out and see what happens. Okay, this is our next example. This one will probably look a little complicated to identify, but usually I would mark a resistance level. You can see an opposite color candle here. This is what I will mark off as a resistance level and also a previous high if the market is looking like this. And so that's the high, and then that's my low. We had a little bit of sell side liquidity that was swept here. So let's let it play and see what happens. Also, this candle right here at the bottom, this is like an inverted hammer candle. This is also indication that price is about to reverse. Read that candlestick Bible. Okay, so let's play it, see what happens. Okay, so price breached the previous high, and what type of market structure shift would you label this as? Displacement, exactly. We see a lot of momentum and we see imbalance that was created. Okay, so what is likely to happen in this scenario? Price goes up. Let it play out and see what happens. Exactly. Okay, let's do some on the uptrend. Okay, we're trending up, and then we get this huge bearish engulfing candle letting us know that is price possibly about to flip. I don't know, but let's watch. So we're gonna mark off our high, and then we are gonna mark off our low, and we're gonna let price play. Oh, hold on, not that much. Okay, so boom, the low was breached. So price made a lower low. So on an uptrend, we're making higher lows, but boom, price just made a lower low. So now what are we gonna do? Okay, what type of market structure shift would you categorize this as? Exactly, displacement. Do we see all of this imbalance here? This is a lot of imbalance that occurred on the way down to creating a new lower low, categorizing this market structure shift as displacement. Let's let it play. So in a displacement, what tends to happen? Market structure usually creates a new trend. So at first we were in an uptrend. If market structure is going to continue, it will go up. If market structure is going to change trend, which is the likeliness of a displacement, then it's going to go down. Let's watch and see what happens.